Well, thanks for sticking around, everyone. Here's the post show. Now, we're going to get a little geeky, and I'm going to go on a little bit of a rant. Jason, I think, will laugh about this, but I want to talk about WatchOS 10 and one little thing that happened there. Um, talk about accessing USB-C drives. And then
Yeah.
let's talk about batteries because there's been this ramp up on, and I don't know why, but there's been this ramp up on people testing what's the best way to charge and things about heat in the phone and heat in the bricks. And then I want to talk about battery management a little bit too. So Jason and I
Yeah.
have definite opinions on battery, which is one of the reasons why we both have the Ultra. It's all about the battery. Um,
Right.
so that's what we'll cover here in the post show. Appreciate you guys sticking around. So Jason, you always laugh, which when I talk about how much music I store on my phone and on my watch. So
Right.
I will tell you that I'm actually storing more on my watch now than I was before. And
Wow.
one of the reasons for that is I don't know what happened, but it seemed like the watch, when I repaired it to the new phone, wasn't recognizing that my music was on there. So I went back in and I re-added. It didn't sync all of the playlists that I re-added, so it makes me think that they were on there. They just hadn't been indexed or something like that.
Hmm.
Um, but then I added more just to see if I could. So instead of 9, I'm up to almost 12 gigabytes of music on my watch.
Wow. And for the average person out there, I mean, 5 gigs is enough music to get you through any
Yeah.
workout, a couple of workouts during the week. So that
Yeah.
is a lot.
Well, but and just again for those of you that haven't listened before, the reason I do this is because I go ride and I go camping and I do these other things where cell phone
Yeah.
signal may not exist or it's really spotty and so I don't want to have to worry about it. And I do take my watch. I have cellular on it, but cellular on the watch is not a great connection to start with. It's not worth a whole
Hmm.
lot, which is why I'm glad it's super cheap. But um, I want to have my music on there so that if I'm on a 2 hour bike ride in the middle of a mountain, I can listen to whatever I want to listen to. Same thing goes for my
Right.
podcast. So I do sync Overcast onto my watch so that the stuff is physically on the watch. So
Right. Which is really convenient.
yeah. So I know I'm in the minority here, vast minority here, but yesterday I was out on in the hammock and you'd think I was actually working on my MacBook. I had my iPad sitting there, my iPhone sitting there, and I still wanted the music to play off my watch,
Yeah.
not to have my watch control the phone. And the reason for that is if I get up, I leave everything there, right? And I
Right.
walk inside and I may come clear back to the back corner of the house or I may go out to check the mail or whatever the case may be. And I don't want the staticky or to drop the connection. And my watch is
Right.
sitting on my wrist, right? So I went in and I hit play on the music and it was playing on my phone
Yeah.
through my AirPods that were connected to my watch, but it's playing off of the phone. And no matter what I did, I couldn't get it to play the music directly from my phone or from my watch.
From the watch.
So
Right.
yeah, so I go in and that's when I noticed that okay, it's saying my playlists aren't on there. So that makes total sense, right? That it's not going to do it if I'm don't have any music loaded on there.
Hmm.
So I go in and I add those and I did that and then I decided, you know what? I'm going to disconnect my watch from my phone. Not the permanent disconnect, but I'm just going to turn off Bluetooth, right?
Right. Easiest
So,
way. Quick and
yep.
easy.
So I turn off Bluetooth, I go to a playlist that I know is on the watch, and I hit play, and I hear the music starting to come from my phone. Because the phone's not connected to my AirPods anymore, right?
Right.
The AirPods are connected to my watch, but there's no Bluetooth turned on my phone, and the music's coming out of the phone's speakers itself. I assumed, apparently falsely so, that when you disconnected, there was no way your watch was going to be talking to your phone. And then I went,
Right.
oh, continuity via Wi Fi.
Right. Right. Right.
So they're both sitting on the same Wi Fi network. But then that got me even more frustrated. One, I think that's a bad choice. But two, I was like, why? right? Why is this working this way? Why can't I get the music to play on there? Now, it used to be obvious, right? You used to have a section that said on watch. And so that's how you would go in and you could go in and you could play this stuff. And
Wait,
so
so that's still not there? I guess
that
I
is
hadn't
not
listened to
there.
music.
So on music, you have
Wow.
listen now, radio, library, and search. And if you go into library, it's going to say, the same thing it does on your phone. It's going to show playlists. It's going to show all of that kind of stuff, but it's all of your playlists. It isn't just the stuff that is downloaded onto your phone.
Hmm. I guess
So,
I need to get my music loaded back and test that out.
so what I had to do is I had to hit the three dots. So when you're on the music screen, when you're trying to choose some music, there's three dots, and then you press those, and it takes you to the now playing screen, and it's got the little, the AirPlay icon, the circles with the triangle at the bottom.
Right.
So I had to go into that, and I had to, how you can do like control other speakers and TV, you can do that on your phone. I had to go into
Yes.
that, and I had to do control other speakers and TV and choose my watch.
Wow, that is pretty complicated.
And now, if I go in to the music app and I go into that, it's defaulted to the check mark is by Apple Watch. But why did I have to do that in the first place? Is it because my music disappeared? I don't know. I think it was still on there. It just hadn't indexed it. So I do a Google search on this. Tons of people are having this problem with WatchOS 10, right? It's just not straightforward enough of me being able to specify what is playing on my watch versus what is
Hmm.
playing on my phone. Now, to be fair to Apple, 99% of people in
Right.
99% of the circumstances, it's better that it's playing from your phone and just airplaying to you're just controlling your phone, which is airplaying to your headphones, right? Or
Right.
connected by Bluetooth, because it saves your watch battery and more processing power and blah, 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 blah. But it used to not be this dang complicated.
No.
So why? Right? Give me a section that says on watch and a section that says not on watch. And I could stream. I've got a cellular version of the watch, so I could stream that stuff if I want
Yes.
to, but make it easy for me to choose where this stuff is going. And so I love my watch, but this one thing has me a little bit flustered about this
Yeah.
because I got it to work because I'm tenacious and I'm willing to try things. The
Right.
normal
You
person
want
that,
it to work the way you want it.
yeah,
Yeah.
that went out, they would never have figured that out.
Yeah. Yeah. So now that you made the change, is it going to default now to the watch? Are you changing the settings?
No, I mean,
Assuming
now it's,
some update doesn't change it back.
yeah, now if I go into listen now, it's showing first all the playlists that I've added onto the watch. So now the listen now seems to be what it's supposed
Hmm.
to be. So I'm going to go switch this.
Okay.
I'm going to say control other devices and speakers, and I'm going to go to the phone. And now if I go into listen now, let's see. It looks exactly the same, except for
Mm.
now, up in the upper right on the three dots, there's a little phone, itty bitty phone icon down in the bottom right. Now I can see now that there's a little arrow that says this playlist has been downloaded on the watch, which is a good improvement there. But now I'm going to have to go back in, hit those three dots, hit the three dots. I'm going to have to go to hit the three dots. I'm going to have to go back and I'm going to have to go into control other speakers and TVs, choose my Apple Watch. Now it's defaulted back to my Apple Watch. Who would have known that you needed to go do so? It looks like it'll at least stay
Right.
there. But so
The
two
average person
questions.
wouldn't go through this trouble.
No, but two questions, right? And I get it. This second one I think applies to everybody, but one, why not make it easier? Why not make it obvious for those of us that want to play this stuff straight off of the watch?
Right.
Because I don't want to stream when I'm out because the cellular connection on the watch again is not great and there's always buffering. Like it buffers like a song and a half, and I'll get halfway through the second song, and then it's got to buffer again to pull down
Right.
the rest, especially where I walk and if I go up in the mountains and stuff. So that's number one. Make it easier to do that. Let me choose what the default is, which hopefully this will stick now. I'll report back.
Hmm.
But then the other thing that happens all the time is there's this auto switching on our devices, right? On our headphones because of the Apple chip that's inside, right?
Yes.
So why on my watch, and I have not used my Beats with this watch yet. Okay, haven't used it at all. But why, when I go use my AirPods on another device and I come back to do something on my watch, does it not remember that I connected to those AirPods last
Right.
and connect easily? Because, like, if I go hit Overcast and I'll hit play on a podcast, it's going to pop up and say, where do you want to play this audio?
Right.
Well, there's only one
Instead of it
option.
just,
They
yeah,
won't, they
it's my
won't,
AirPods.
they won't let me play out of the watch speakers. The only option that I have, since everything else is not connected at the moment, my Maxes are in their case, so they're not connected. The Beats are not connected. The only option that's showing up there is my AirPods Pro 2. Why don't you just automatically connect to that?
Right.
Because, and keep that connection, because half the time I have to do that 2 or 3 times to get it to actually connect and
Yes.
play, right? So this goes back to that thing about, I feel like, some things are just not quite where they need to be in the back end. Now, this is a really, really itty bitty device,
It
right? There's
is.
not a lot of processing power. The radios and stuff in it are not the same as are in the phone. So I get all of that kind of stuff. But this is what I want the watch to be, right? I want it
Yes.
to do all of this stuff. I get it if you don't want to do all the auto switching, fine. But just make it easier for me to know exactly what I'm doing, set it the way I want, and then please remember my settings.
Right. Right. So, and I know you said you're in a small minority that want this, but I think if it was easier to be able to navigate all of that, right? If it was easier, remember transferring music to the watch was a hassle. Hassle. I know
Yeah.
you said it's improved. I hadn't tested it for myself, but if things were easier, more people would do it. And it just sounds like one of those things where this may be that complicated to discourage people from doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I wouldn't want to think that Apple would want to discourage people from taking advantage of features that are available, but if it was easier, more people would do it. And
Yeah.
that's just not the case with music streaming on the watch, though.
First time you launch the app, have it pop up a thing that says, hey, did you know you can move music onto your watch and play it
Right,
even if your phone's not around? Tell us what to move. We'll move it tonight while you're sleeping, while it's charging, or whatever the case may be. And then, oh, by the way, if you play this music, do you want us to play it from your watch or from the phone first?
right.
And
And do you only own one pair of AirPods? Okay, we'll only stream to those. We'll always look for those AirPods and only stream to those.
yeah,
And yeah, it's yeah,
yep.
that's a pretty weird situation. I had frustrations like that in the past, but yeah, that sounds like they just made it extra complicated for no reason.
Yeah, I didn't appreciate it.